property.
All right, and my guest still here with us in studio. Majority Leader, I'll start with you on this one. In the warning, you said it was a warning that you gave on the 19th of March 2023. You mentioned certain properties of the former president's family, including a farm in Roiro. And there are those who believe tonight that your warning partly contributed to the images that we have seen on that screen. Do you disagree with that?
Well, Waihiga, let me say, let me first begin by saying what happened yesterday is rather unfortunate and it should never happen to anybody. Not the Kenyatas, not you, not myself, not anybody.
Even though you had alluded to it previously.
Are you going to let me speak or you want to speak? Then I can let you speak first and ask all the questions you want to ask, then I can answer.
How does it contrast with what you said previously? That's what I want to understand. It's, again, as I said, it's an accountability show. We don't just look at incidents in isolation. We look at past and present. I want to understand the Ichung'wah of 19th March 2023 and the one issuing the apology today. Where is the...
Have I apologized to anyone? Don't put words in my mouth, Waihiga.
Okay, the one condemning the incident.
Waihiga, don't put words into my mouth. I have not apologized to anybody. I'm not about to apologize. I issued a cautionary statement that I could still repeat here, and I have repeated. It's a cautionary statement because I am a politician, Waihiga, who is on the ground 90% of my time. I was a politician before elections, Waihiga. I cautioned, and we cautioned in the team that we were with, we cautioned Uhuru Kenyatta against imposing the candidature of Uhuru Kenyatta on the people of Mount Kenya. Because we could feel our ground and what our people are saying. Okay,
let me take you back to yesterday. You were talking about yesterday.
Up to today.
You were talking about yesterday, Majority Leader. Let me allow you to move in there.
You will allow me to speak. If you don't want to allow me to speak, you can as well ask me to walk out, Waihiga. Because I can't be saying something and you interject and you don't allow me to speak. Why did you invite me here?
You asked.
You invited me here.
You asked.
Yes, because I asked. In actual fact, I did ask. And maybe it's the last time you're inviting me here. And there are reasons why I did ask. That's why you will allow me to speak.
Go ahead.
If you allow me to be in this station, then allow me to speak. Because you keep interjecting to stop me from saying what I will have to say. And you just stopped my brother here when he was speaking because he was saying unpalatable things.
So I'm
therefore, allow me to rebut.
You were stating
I was stating it was a cautionary statement. I would still repeat that cautionary statement.
Proceed.
Because we hear what the people say on the ground. And the concerns that are there with the people is that the people financing this anarchy are financing this anarchy, yet their businesses are going on as usual. Nothing is happening to their businesses. Today, Waihiga Mwaura, let me take you back to yesterday also. You were reading the news on Citizen TV last night. You uttered that government-sponsored goons, those were your words, Waihiga. What evidence did you have that these were government-sponsored goons? You're asking me here on your show to offer evidence that I am telling you I can offer evidence as to who are financing this chaos.
Let me ask you this.
You did not adduce evidence to the people of Kenya on how these goons are sponsored by government. Number two, you just say Dennis Itumbi, Waihiga Mwaura, tweeted. You know for the last 2 weeks Dennis Itumbi's Twitter account was hacked into. He is not in control of his account.
I think
he's the one who said, well, him is allowed to say all those unpalatable things. He also said I was in Thika.
Majority Leader.
When I was not in Thika. Let me finish my point, Waihiga. You will have your questions. And allow me to answer questions when you ask me.
Briefly, please. I want to...
Because I'll not sit here and wait for you to accuse me and not allow me to defend.
So I asked you...
Or allow all the unpalatable things that are being said.
Then tell me this, Majority Leader.
Without any rebuttal.
My first question
I was telling you when you say these are government-sponsored goons. Who sponsored
Majority
the
Leader
goons that looted the supermarket in Tasia last Monday? Who sponsored the goons that raped women in Mathare last Monday?
Majority Leader.
Who sponsored the goons that burnt a police car yesterday, Waihiga?
We can't proceed until you answer my... I asked the first...
I will answer your question. I'm just asking you a very simple question. Who sponsored those goons? When your cameras... I've seen you have covered very well the investigative journalism, and you have done a commendable job, Waihiga. And indeed, I want to ask the police to investigate and make sure that they bring to book all those people who may have orchestrated the chaos. What question do you want me to answer so that you allow me to say what I want to say?
The incidents that were seen at Northlands for a section of Kenyans today.
Oh, they may believe they were orchestrated.
Correlation with the exact words.
Let me give you a direct answer.
Do you see their concerns.
Let me give you a direct answer. The direct answer is that there's no correlation. The only relationship there between what I said and what happened yesterday is that there are elements who thought that they can now take advantage of my cautionary statements, what Alice Ng'ang'a had said, what Jen Kihara had said, take advantage of those cautionary statements, invade Kenyatta's property and Spectre East Africa Limited. Remember, Waihiga Mwaura, inadvertently or just out of honesty, the security and safety manager at Spectre East Africa, in your news yesterday, said that when the goons that appeared at Spectre seemed to target the MD's office and the MD escaped unhurt, he also said to us that there were about 100 workers working at the factory. Therefore, Raila Odinga's people are still working when he's calling on others not to go to work, but he has not given his own staff, including his wife, permission to go to Maandamano. They are at work. The East African Spectre security manager also asserted that they called the police, and the police reacted in record time and saved the situation. Those are not my words, Waihiga Mwaura.
Okay.
Those are the words that you covered in your news.
All right.
You failed to cover the beat where, out of your investigative journalism, even today, Waihiga, none of your journalists has had the opportunity to ask the Kenyatta family, or indeed the security manager or the farm manager at Northlands, what happened to the police? Hundreds of policemen who guard
it's the same
farm.
question that he has asked as well on that.
And I agreed with him, Waihiga.
Yes.
That the greater question is, where were the police? Before you even
I'll ask you to hold the police so I can bring him.
Let me just finish that point. And I know the tactic of trying to stop me not to say what I'm saying.
I'm also trying to give him fair time.
I'm
the host of this show, and I believe viewers want to hear both sides.
Just allow to make that one point in 30 seconds. Because my brother did ask, where were the police? This is the home of a former president. 2 presidents, by the way. Mama Ngina Kenyatta is still guarded by state security. Uhuru Kenyatta is still guarded by state security. If there is no police station, there must be a police post in that farm. Where were the police who are usually tasked with guarding that?
And you're asking this?
Where are the distress calls that were made to the police either in Ruiru, that Gatongora, or Kahawa West? Did you find out if there's evidence of any distress calls?
As a majority leader here today, I believe you're one who could help us better understand that. Godfrey Osotsi, come in. And a question has been asked about the funding of Azimio activities, and he's posed. And I want to hear from you on that one. How are you funding your demonstrations?
Well, I think that's diversionary. And my friend here...
No, I'm asking you, not him. I'm asking you, how are you funding?
Let me tell you. Let me tell you the process you have gone through. When we started by holding public barazas across the country. We have done about 16 barazas. And you remember those days when we started, there was a lot of propaganda from the Ichung'wah side about violence, about destruction of property, that those rallies are going to be violent and all those kind of things. But I want to tell you, Waihiga, I attended almost all the rallies that Azimio held across the country. And no single property was destroyed in those rallies. No single person was injured in those rallies. What has really changed is that Kenya Kwanza realized that we were attracting the masses. We were talking to the people, and the people were listening to us. So they had to come up with a strategy to make sure that we don't have that opportunity to engage the people. So when we said now we are getting to a level where we want now to demonstrate peacefully with the Kenyans, they now decided that the only strategy they had was to ensure that those demonstrations were not going to happen. And that is why, if you observe, and I was with your people in yesterday's demonstration, and clearly you can see that when you start up the demonstration, people are very peaceful. They are going on with their demonstration. No property is being taken away. But the police come in and unnecessarily throw around tear gas. They start beating people. Now, that is where the trouble starts. And that is their strategy. So their strategy is to ensure that Azimio has no opportunity to picket. They have no opportunity to assemble. They have no opportunity to demonstrate. And yet it's provided for, is a right under Article 37 of the Constitution. So they are misusing the police force for their own political selfish interest. But we are telling the IG, Inspector General of Police, who is the head of Kenya Police Service Commission, that he's violating the Constitution because he took the oath to uphold and protect the Constitution. If you read Article 249 of the Constitution, it's very clear on the objects of an independent commission. That an independent commission, one, has to protect the sovereign right of the people, which is under Article 1 of the Constitution. A commission like that has to observe the democratic values and principles, and it has to promote the constitutionalism. But that is not what the police commission is doing. You have seen Mr. Kome coming and saying he's banning demonstration. He has no powers to ban demonstration because that is a right provided for under the Constitution. So what we are seeing is desperation from our competitors, the Kenya Kwanza. They are desperate and they want to make sure that they stop Kenyans from exercising their constitutional right. But we are telling them that as in Azimio, we will continue exercising our democratic rights, our constitutional right. All these things that are happening, the sideshows, like what happened in Kibera last night, the burning of churches, burning of mosques, they are all state managed by this government.
Again,
because
I will ask you, I asked him.
Let me just continue, because
where's your proof?
You gave him enough time.
No, I stopped him and I asked him, where's your proof? So I'm going to ask you again.
The same question.
And why have you not reported that to the police or the investigating authorities?
You asked me on Northlands. Where were the police last night to stop the violence in Kibera yesterday? When demonstrators are on the street, within 5 minutes they are there, stopping, throwing tear gas and dispersing people. But why do they take too long to deal with cases of thuggery in Northland, the issue of what happened last night in Kibera? So we are saying all these things are stage managed by the state, and Kimani Ichung'wah here, who is the majority leader, knows these things. I have seen Eliud Owalo issuing a press statement, and I was wondering, really, is he the one to do that? But he has responded to the issues that what happened at Northlands. And we are saying that the government has an obligation to tell Kenyans what happened. In fact, by now, Waihiga, all these people who participated in thuggery at Northlands, they should be under the bus, because they are not known to this government. It is this government that sent them. You have had even Honorable Rigathi Gachagua issuing threats to a person of high standards like Raila Odinga. Last week, and I want to say this, last week... It has to be your last comment. I also need to give him a chance, yes. Last week, I was in Parliament taking breakfast with the majority leader in the Senate, Aaron Cheruiyot, and he told me, next week, on Monday, if you are men, go to the streets. We will kill Raila Amolo Odinga. No, he said that. We cannot... And I'm ready to produce evidence. You cannot. You're going to have to. He said that. You're going to have to withdraw that. No. I can't withdraw. It's obvious. Why did you not report it? Why did you not report it? We tweeted. It is there, and he said that, and even confronted me in Senate. Why I said that? Those are the words of the Waihiga senator, and not of this program.
Waihiga, I hope you give me the time without interruptions, as you have given my brother.
But you also interrupted me.
The question you asked him on financing is not answered. There are no interjections from your end.
You interjected. I want to answer that.
Okay, wait. No. Senator, it's his chance now. Go ahead.
So I was only asking that you allow me to rebut without unnecessarily interjecting, like you have been doing, Waihiga, with all due respect to you, and I appreciate your invitation here. First, my brother here is saying that they have been attracting masses, and government intends to stop their protest because they have been attracting masses. And he will remember quite clearly, when they held their rallies in Kamukunji and all over the country, nobody interfered with their masses, with their rallies, whatever number of people you want to attract. Because, and I really...
Wait, hold on. Senator, let him finish.
We can just have some decorum, Senator.
He is aware. Please proceed.
If Waihiga, that is what they were doing. nobody would interfere. Nobody would stop what they are entitled to under the Constitution, because they have the right to protest, to picket, and to demonstrate. But remember, the same Constitution, Waihiga, says that where your rights end, where mine begin. Therefore, if you want the right to demonstrate and protest, just don't loot people's properties. Don't interfere with those who want to go about with their business. If Waihiga Mwaura wants to report to work, Spectre East Africa yesterday, 100 workers were working. But you want to stop other Kenyans who are going to make a living to stop and go to stop going to make a living where they make a living in Waihiga. My brother says here that government is afraid of them, and I want to assure him, government is not afraid of you. You can hold as the hugest rallies you can amass and say whatever things you want to say, so long as you are doing so non-violently. The police only came into the equation, Waihiga, when they said that they are coming last Monday to storm State House and remove a legitimately elected president from State House. Those are not my words. Those were their words. Waihiga, coming back to what I was trying to say earlier, this very good investigative journalism on Northlands, when are we seeing the same of those people who looted Mwindi Mweusi supermarket in Tasia? When are we seeing the same of Yatin Patel's Saira supermarket in Maseno?
A lot of it depends
who lost
on
10 million
what you see. Let me finish. You've asked a question.
I asked with all due respect, Waihiga, that you allow me to say what I have to say.
Okay.
You will answer me.
Okay.
Just allow me like you're allowing my brother here. You ask him a question, you allow time to answer. So I'm only asking you, when will you do this perfect journalism, investigative journalism, on those who looted the supermarket in Tasia, on the gentleman who raped, goons who raped 3 women, Mama Mbogas, in Mathare last Monday? Yesterday, your cameras were all blind to a police car going up in flames yesterday, right here on Gong Road. Policemen are being stoned and injured every day in the full view of Citizen TV and other mainstream news channels' cameras. That news is never reported. When will you show us and quantify the young lady? I've shared with you a video, and I wish that you had a way of sharing it and playing it on your TV screens, of a young lady in Kisumu yesterday who is asking, what are these protests for? After goons looted her kiosk and took off with all the sodas and drinks in a Coca-Cola fridge. I am inviting you, Waihiga, to be fair. And I asked you, I particularly...
Because I know you're a big consumer of this station, and that's why you've asked to be here today.
I am a big consumer to this station, and that's why I took offense.
We covered...
And I asked to appear on this show, Waihiga.
Majority Leader...
So that you may also tell me, when you are sat...
Majority Leader...
As Citizen TV, Waihiga...
As long as we
Waihiga,
have that...
I did ask. You have given... I was timing. You gave my brother 4 minutes, 37 seconds... uninterrupted. Why don't you honor me with the same?
Majority Leader, I interrupted him 3 times. I counted.
Towards the end when he said unpalatable things. I am not saying anything unpalatable.
All I'm telling you
I am asking very genuine, honest questions, Waihiga. When will our media houses also focus on the other side of the coin? And I told you, Waihiga, this could be my last show on this TV. But for heaven's sake, I'll tell you, I do not care. There are things we must do and say for the sake of our country.
Okay, and for the benefit...
If even you as journalists, as a media, become part of a script to create anarchy and chaos in this country, we are going to lose this country.
Majority Leader, you're here for an accountability discussion, and there's a reason...
And that's why, is accountability only on my side?
No.
Or is Citizen TV accountable to Kenyans for what you say?
Majority...
Are you accountable? I know Waihiga, and I know you are Citizen, and its owners were supporters of Azimio. And therefore, and it's a fact, you were unfair to us during the election. We still won the election, Waihiga. Please, be unfair and be subjective against us.
Okay.
But be fair to the Kenyan people. The same investigative journalism you do in Northlands, please, do it for the Mama Mboga who loses business every Monday. Do it for the child in Kibra who doesn't attend school every Monday. Do it for the child in Mathare whose mother was raped last Monday. Do it for that young lady in Kisumu.
Okay.
Do it for Mr. Silas of Pit Stop, whose restaurant in Kisumu was burnt down. I am looking forward to the day Raila Odinga, our good former Prime Minister, will, as he's visited Northlands today, will visit Silas in Pit Stop Kisumu, will visit the UDA office burnt in Kisumu, will visit the police and condole with the many police officers who've been injured and maimed.
I'll have to stop.
I stop.
I'll have to stop there.
I stop and I will not interrupt you. Again.
You know, Honorable Ichung'wah is on a damage control mission. And that is what the entire UDA is doing, including the statement by Owalo and others. But the bottom line is that there is panic within Kenya Kwanza. Because what they did yesterday was the worst a government could do to a former president. A government could do to people who own property in this country. And when I looked at what was happening yesterday, I thought about Zimbabwe. You remember Zimbabwe during Robert Mugabe's time. They started like this. They invaded the farms owned by the white people. And eventually it became a big crisis. And Zimbabwe has gone to its knees because of that singular act. And that is where Kimani Ichung'wah and his Kenya Kwanza people are taking us. There are better ways and better strategies of countering Azimio. You don't have to kill people. You don't have to destroy property.
No one has
you don't.
Again, I will. Same.
Yeah. People have been shot. People have been shot by police.
IPOA is investigating.
Yeah,
IPOA is investigating that.
So we are asking them, can they be responsible enough and allow the constitution to work? Because we in Azimio, we have issues. We have talked about the issue of cost of living, which is a real issue. And when we say a cost of living must go down, we are doing this for the purposes of Kenyans who are suffering. And they told us that when they put the Bible down, prices of most of these essential things, including unga, will go down. That has not happened. They asked for more time. We gave them 100 days. It is now 6 months. Nothing is happening. But if you look at their policies, the policies they have in place will not reduce cost of living. Look, for example, in agriculture. They came up with a very strange policy that they want to lease some land in Zambia to grow maize. That is the worst strategy you can have as a government, because you are simply taking jobs to Zambia. The cost of production is all going to go high because you have to transport that maize to this country. Look at the issue of even importation of farm machinery from a country which is under sanction, Belarus, because of the war in Ukraine. They want to get, look at fertilizers they brought. That fertilizer is not effective. Farmers have to buy additional fertilizer, and it is costing extra money. They have even bought cars for the deputy president and the president, 800 million. And yet Kenyans are suffering. We are saying we cannot sit there and see Kenyans continue suffering because of cost of living, because of the other side.
I do need to wrap up this conversation. So briefly,
you gave him time. Foreign policy, you have seen how they have dismantled the foreign policy, which is against Vienna Convention, that any investor who wants to come and invest, he doesn't have to go through the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. He can go direct to the parent ministry, to the line ministry, and many, many other things that I can say.
And that is where I will interrupt you. This is my final question.
We cannot wait.
This is my final question to both of you.
What we are saying, we need cost of living to go down.
Okay.
We need servers to be opened. We need the reconstitution of IBC to stop.
My final question to both of you. I had analysts here last night.
Do you have a rebuttal on that?
I had analysts here last night.
The show has to end at this point.
You had your time.
Allow me to ask my question. I had analysts here last night, and with different views. But what they agreed on at the end of the day was that as a country we must de-escalate the tensions in this country. And they placed the blame solely at the table of the political class. In your parting shot, I want to give you both a chance in 1 minute to talk about what de-escalation will take. Kimani, I want to start with you.
Waihiga, first I'll ask you to be balanced. Because you should have given me an opportunity for rebuttal, but in my rebuttal, allow me an extra 1 minute to just say that de-escalation, Waihiga, is very easy. De-escalation is doing the things that Osose is very eloquently doing on this show. He has a forum. He is paid every month to de-escalate that conversation away from protests and violence and anarchy in the streets. In the Senate, where he's paid to articulate issues that are of concern to the people of Kenya and the people he represents in Waihiga County. I am paid by the people of Kikuyu and other Kenyans to articulate issues that are of concern to them through the National Assembly. We have that opportunity within established institutions under our Constitution, as members of parliament and as leaders, to articulate those issues that are of concern, like the cost of living. And I want to tell my brother here, the cost of living will not be brought down by looting Yasin Patel's supermarket in Kisumu, Maseno, or that young hustler lady, or raping women in Mathare, or stoning police, or looting people's shops in town and robbing motorists. Waihiga, I'm sure even you on a Monday, you are very careful when you're coming here. You make sure you come at the right time so that you are not robbed on the road. Therefore, Waihiga, if we are genuine, and that is a hypocrisy I was calling out this morning, that I look forward to a day that leaders will take charge and say that I have been elected by the people to articulate issues that are of concern to them, and do that through the established channels. If it is IEBC that he's talking about, and Osoti was with me in the 12th Parliament, he knows the IEBC Act they're talking about was passed in the 12th Parliament, authored, crafted by Uhuru Kenyatta and Raila Odinga under the handshake regime. It is that act that they used to appoint the Cherera 4 commissioners. The only tweak or amendment that has been done in the 13th Assembly, with the participation of both sides of the political divide, was to align it to a high court ruling that invalidated one clause that allowed the Parliament Service Commission to nominate 4 panelists instead of, and we reduced that to 2. And they know that. And therefore, they know their institutions to deal with issues and legal and constitutional ways of addressing issues. Okay. And going extra constitutional, Waihiga, will not.
Last minute to make your final one.
Last minute.
So that I can also give him.
Last minute. Yeah, last minute. I'm very well behaved. Now you interject me, you make me lose my trail of thought. I was saying that de-escalation will mean we all agree, whether you are Uhuru Kenyatta, whether you are Raila Odinga, whether you are William Ruto, whether you are Kimani, Ichung'wah, or Soti, you agree to abide by the rule of law and our Constitution. Last year, Waihiga, I look forward to the day you in the media will also be objective. I look forward to the day, as Raila Odinga has paraded people in Northlands today, to him parading people and media, to the young lady who lost her son in Maseno University or Jaramogi Odinga University in Kisumu the other day, to the child who lost his life yesterday, to the people in Kibra whose hardware was looted yesterday, to the supermarket in Dandora that was looted yesterday. I look forward to the day Raila Odinga will unequivocally denounce violence and anarchy and bloodshed as a currency to attaining political power. Okay. I truly look forward to that day, Waihiga.
I have given you more than enough time for your parting shot.
My parting shot, please, Waihiga Mwaura, Citizen TV and Royal Media Services, be fair to Kenyans. Don't be fair to Kenya Kwanza. Be fair,
we are fair
to the Kenyan people.
Again, Majority Leader, in all fairness, we cancelled our interview.
Majority
Leader, we cancelled our interview.
Of course, and this could be the last interview. This could be the last interview I'll be on this TV.
We cancelled our interview very late.
I have told you this could be the last interview because I had to tell you these things.
Yes.
And I particularly sought you out because I found it completely out of touch, and I know it may not be you, it may be your editors or those who own the station, that you would have the audacity to say
we've gone out of our way.
Goons.
We've gone out of our way.
Well, you are not telling us who has sponsored those who are raping.
Thank you, Majority Leader.
Who has sponsored those who are looting.
Godfrey Osoti, final word, please.
Yeah, my final word, you asked the question, what is the way forward? I can say, one is that let us respect the Constitution, which we all promise Kenyans that we are going to uphold and protect. And it starts with the government. If there are demonstrators, if there are protesters, please allow them to picket peacefully and without using the police to disrupt those processions. And number two, police brutality in this country. He has talked about the people who died. All those people who died were shot by police. And the evidence is there. Number 3, let them implement the promises they made to Kenyans. On cost of living, I remember one time my colleague here even questioned Uhuru Kenyatta on the infrastructural project he was doing. He said, we don't eat roads, we want food. Yeah? So they are in government, you and...
Okay, let him finish. Yeah, please keep it to your parting shot.
Let them implement promises they made to Kenyans, particularly on the issue of...
Majority Leader, hang on.
On the issue of cost of living. Number 2,
sir.
This is not a Raila issue alone. They are trying to make it as a one-man issue. This issue of cost of living affects many Kenyans. The issues that Azimio is trying to push are issues that affect every Kenyans. Let them not make it look like a Raila issue. And Raila has not committed any crime. If I want to look, I want to look in the eyes of...
Your final word.
No, I'm coming to that. I want to look in the eyes of my friend and ask him. Let me finish. You know, he had his time.
Your last 30 seconds, please.
If Raila has committed any crime, arrest him. And lastly, we need media freedom in this country. You saw the other day the kind of statement that came from CA. That was uncalled for. And even the kind of talk Ichung'wah is talking here, he is trying to intimidate Citizen TV. Citizen TV has done a good job. He's telling us the truth. He's showing us what is happening. And I think that's what the media should do under Article 34 of the Constitution.
And we'll take that as your final word.
Let me thank you, my brother, and we still won.
Honourable Majority Leader, thank you so much. Those have been the views of the Senator for Waihiga County, Godfrey Osotsi, and the views of the Majority Leader of the National Assembly, Kimani Ichung'wah, not the views of Newsnight or Citizen TV. But let me thank my guests for making time for us here this evening. And on that note,